Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be discussing 10 instances where actions behind the scenes of a film resulted in repercussions for the finished product, or the careers of those involved.
None of us had any idea what was coming.
Dwayne Johnson, Black Adam. Adaptations of famous properties don't necessarily need to adhere strictly to the source material to be successful. That said, comic book fans are generally protective of the stories and characters they love, and want them to be represented with respect.
There's no one on this planet that can stop me.
I can call in a favor and send people who aren't from this planet.
Send them all.
Dwayne Johnson's actions behind the scenes of 2022's Black Adam seem to have distanced the title character from the superhero with which he is most identified in the comics, Shazam. Reportedly, Johnson was more interested in Black Adam having a future on-screen collaboration with Superman rather than the one-time Captain Marvel.
It's been a while since anyone's made the world this nervous. Black Adam. We should talk.
Of course, none of this really matters in the end, since Black Adam disappointed both critics and audiences upon release, while its profit margin was comparatively slim thanks to the hefty production budget. Lindsay Lohan, The Canyons.
I never even thought this movie would get made.
Many of Lindsay Lohan's fans were rooting for the actress as she attempted a slow return to the silver screen after a much-publicized struggle with substance use disorder. Unfortunately, films such as 2013's The Canyons didn't do much to raise Lohan's public profile, at least not in the way she probably intended.
But you don't have to go and say things that are going to hurt me.
Instead, stories arose about how Lohan would either show up unfit to work or not bother to show up at all.
And then after casting, she just disappeared. She just stopped coming by the production office. I haven't seen her in like a month.
The actress was also allegedly combative on set and demanded others, including director Paul Schrader, disrobe when it came time to shoot a sex scene from the script.
It's more fun to keep it a little complicated.
Finally, Lohan publicly distanced herself from the erotic thriller after it was finished, essentially putting the kibosh upon any sort of promotion.
Look, Christian's not going to hurt me. If anything, I'm the one that's going to hurt him.
Walk-in Tudor Jones, aka Ninja, Chappie. Man, director Neil Blomkamp just can't seem to catch a break, can he? The director's filmography includes many efforts that were hampered due to a variety of missteps, mistakes, and misfires.
Hello, little guy. Give me you. Yes, a sweetie for you. Okay, there you go. Eat your sweetie.
Chappie was one such entry, a film from 2015 that featured within its cast one Walk-in Tudor Jones, also known as Ninja from the group D'Antwoord. Ninja was allegedly hostile to a number of cast and crew during the production of Chappie, and it's unclear from sources whether this hostility was sincere or came from a place of method acting.
It's true.
Whatever the case, Chappie did double its budget of $49 million, but this was still seen as a failure, and plans for future sequels were scrapped.
Okay, you know what? I got a fun idea. Chappie, you like cars, eh?
Yes,
So why don't we go for a drive in a real car to see the real world?
Want to come in the real car? Chappie wants to come with.
So come, let's do it, Chappie. Let's go for a ride.
Charlie Sheen, 2.5 Men. The big screen isn't the only place where egos can run rampant, and seemingly irreparable rifts can emerge at a moment's notice.
So let's just keep this to ourselves.
Our little secret.
2.5 Men was a fan-favorite sitcom during its early years, serving as something of a triumph for movie star Charlie Sheen.
I wish you could have seen him in his prime. He was like Babe Ruth.
You played baseball?
No, he was a drunken whoremonger.
However, this small-screen success was dampened by Sheen's struggles with substance use disorder, resulting in repeated clashes with co-stars, as well as with creator Chuck Lorre. Sheen's character was eventually written off the show when the actor was dismissed from 2.5 Men, but this wasn't the end of the story.
Sorry, I can't find any record of your brother's death.
Instead, Lorre decided to have the last laugh by killing off Sheen's character in a manner that can only be described as broad. Alejandro Jodorowsky, Dune. The fascinating 2013 documentary, Jodorowsky's Dune, tells the tale of the maverick and often controversial director's unmade Dune adaptation from the 1970s.
For me, Dune will be the coming of a god, artistical, cinematographical god.
Jodorowsky, who was known for his transgressive cinematic tendencies, possessed a sprawling, nigh unfilmable vision for Dune. This adaptation of the Frank Herbert series of novels possessed ideas that were incredible, magnificent, and truly awe-inspiring. They were also, however, unfilmable for any movie studio that didn't have a blank checkbook policy.
Can I have a burning giraffe? Yeah, well, what about burning? I want burning giraffe. All right, we'll have burning giraffe, we'll have elephants, whatever you want.
The auteur refused to compromise on this vision, which frightened off investors.
This shit, this nothing, this paper who have nothing inside.
The level of expense and manpower required for production, alongside Jodorowsky's desire for the film to run at least 10 hours, was simply unattainable, and Jodorowsky's Dune never came to fruition. Edward Norton and Tony Kaye, American History X.
You gotta let me do this my own way, all right?
Edward Norton is an extremely talented actor, and American History X was a noteworthy achievement for director Tony Kaye. However, the production of this film was fraught with turmoil, including repeated clashes between the director and his leading man.
Who do you think you are?
Dan, relax.
Who do you think you are?
Take it easy, Dan. Take it easy.
Norton's reputation for being creatively hands-on has often resulted in tensions behind the scenes. This was seen in 2008's The Incredible Hulk, with the role of Bruce Banner being recast after Norton's involvement.
Any last words? Hulk! Smash!
Norton's script doctoring and edits for American History X resulted in fiery confrontations between the actor, Kaye, and New Line Cinema.
And everybody ate it up. They did whatever Derek told them to.
The final product underperformed at the box office, and Kaye's career as a director stalled in the aftermath of his disowning of the film. Michael Cimino, Heaven's Gate. Writer-director Michael Cimino was on a roll going into 1980's Heaven's Gate. The man had written some successful screenplays and helmed two well-received feature films, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot and The Deer Hunter. It was this latter film that Cimino's meticulous style as a filmmaker was codified, and the film won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. But it would be with Heaven's Gate that the level of obsession would go too far, effectively ruining his career.
You're not my class, kid. You never will be. You'd have to die first and be born again.
The film was critically panned and a huge commercial bomb that steered its studio, United Artists, into bankruptcy.
Okay, you pay in advance here. Cash.
Today, Heaven's Gate has received a Criterion release on home video and is regarded by some as an underseen and unfairly maligned cult classic, but Cimino didn't make another feature for 5 years.
Could be back.
Wesley Snipes, Blade Trinity.
There's still a war going on, and I have a job to do.
The Blade character is one that's still awaiting a reboot from Marvel. After Wesley Snipes first embodied the role back in the 1990s, Blade Trinity did no service to the character's legacy, however, and was notably fraught with behind-the-scenes drama.
What, you amateurs are supposed to be helping me? You? Look at you. You're kids. You're not ready to roll with this.
It was the first film in the franchise to be helmed by its screenwriter, David S. Goyer, and this decision immediately put the director at odds with his lead. Snipes reportedly made production hell for both his director and co-stars.
Welcome to the Honeycomb Hideout.
How do you bankroll this operation?
I date a lot of older men.
The actor allegedly communicated only in writing to Goyer and signed all of his missives as Blade. Snipes, for his part, maintained that his executive producer privileges offered him creative control that wasn't recognized on the set or by the studio.
I think somebody here wants to talk about vampires.
Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando, The Island of Dr. Moreau.
So then I knew we were in serious bad shape.
It's one of the most infamously troubled film sets of all time, so much so that it was made the subject of its own documentary.
You had to just keep taking away problems that he had created in order to put the work off, and then finally you got the work.
This 2014 film details how a 1996 adaptation of The Island of Dr. Moreau brought in 2 actors infamous for their bad behavior, the young hotshot Val Kilmer and the OG enfant terrible Marlon Brando.
The longer that I'm here, the worse it gets.
The film's screenwriter and original director, Richard Stanley, was fired midway through production, yet snuck back on set in costume.
This is the most outrageous spectacle I have ever witnessed.
Kilmer was going through a divorce and was allegedly argumentative throughout production. Meanwhile, Brando demanded to be fed all his lines via earpiece, and co-star Fairuza Balk actually attempted to physically escape the film, but was dragged, proverbially, back to the island.
Why have you done this?
Don't you feel the heat? As I do. I can't tolerate the sun.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Joan Crawford and Bette Davis. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? Theirs was a professional and personal rivalry so infamous that it was developed into a television series.
Miss Bancroft said, "Here's my little speech, dear Joan."
Bette Davis and Joan Crawford are towering legends of old-school Hollywood, and their distaste for one another actually worked in the financial favor of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane in 1962.
You've been spying on me. What do you think? You are disgusting. After all I've done for you, you spy on me, when all I'm trying to do is help. Who are you trying to help, Blanche?
This psychological thriller would turn out to be a defining film for both women, but not without a cost. There were reports that Davis only signed on to the film once she was assured that her ratio of close-ups wouldn't be affected by any suspected behind-the-scenes romance between Crawford and the director.
As far as making the film with her, she was on time, she knew her lines. She basically was a pro.
Oh, really?
But we're very different kind of women, very different kind of actresses.
Elsewhere, it was alleged that the two stars caused injury to each other during certain scenes. Do stories of behind-the-scenes drama impact your enjoyment of any of these films? Let us know in the comments.
What happened, Jimmy? It just went south. Right away. The whole thing went south, Jack.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.